Some people think horror lives in abandoned places, but sometimes it comes much closer. Tonight, I'll tell you 3 true stories. Story 1. The last stop wasn't real. This happened in the winter of 2021 during a late-night bus ride through rural Pennsylvania. It's not something I can explain, and I still avoid buses because of it. I was heading home from Pittsburgh after visiting a friend. I missed my earlier ride, so I had to take the last bus out, around 12:40 a.m. There were only 4 of us on board. The driver, a woman near the front, and a man sitting behind me. Everything felt normal at first, quiet, just the hum of the engine and passing lights. About an hour in, we turned off the main highway. That's when I noticed something strange. No streetlights, no houses, just trees. Endless trees. My phone had no signal. I asked the driver if this was the right route. He didn't answer. Then I noticed the woman. She hadn't moved, not once. Hands folded, head slightly down. Then, slowly, she turned her head and looked straight at me. A few minutes later, the bus slowed down. Out of nowhere, there was a bus stop. No lights, no sign, just a bench. The doors opened. No one got off, no one got on, but the doors stayed open too long. Then I heard footsteps coming up the stairs, slow, heavy. I looked. No one was there, but the driver nodded like someone had entered. I turned around. The man behind me was gone. No sound, no movement, just gone. The woman stood up, slowly. She started walking toward me. Her face looked wrong, pale, empty, and her footsteps made no sound. I panicked. As soon as the bus slowed again, I forced the door open and jumped out. I hit the ground hard. When I looked back, the bus was gone. I walked for almost an hour until I reached a gas station. I told the clerk everything. He asked me one thing: what bus number? I told him. He went quiet, then said, that route was shut down years ago. After a crash, no one survived.
Story 2. The camera was still recording. In 2020, I worked night security at a storage facility outside Denver. Worst job I ever had. 12-hour shifts, freezing nights, and absolutely nothing to do. Most nights, I just sat there watching security cameras until sunrise. But one night, something happened that still doesn't feel real to me. Around 1:15 in the morning, I noticed one of the storage units was open. Unit C17. That immediately bothered me because every unit was supposed to stay locked overnight. So I zoomed the camera in, and that's when I saw movement inside. Not clearly, just something shifting in the darkness, like someone stepping backward out of view. At first, I thought it was a break-in, so I grabbed my flashlight and headed out there. The walk felt strange, too quiet, no wind, no traffic, nothing. When I finally reached the unit, the door was cracked open exactly like it looked on camera. I remember standing there for a second, just listening. No sound inside. Then I pushed the door open, and the entire unit was empty. No boxes, no furniture, nothing, except one folding chair sitting in the center of the room, facing me. And yeah, I know how ridiculous this sounds now, but that chair scared me more than anything else could have, because somebody had placed it there intentionally. I stepped inside slowly, shining my flashlight around. Concrete walls, dust everywhere, no footprints, nothing. Then suddenly, I heard the metal door moving behind me. It was closing, slowly. I rushed out before it shut completely. My heart was pounding so hard it actually hurt, and I kept trying to tell myself it's just the wind, even though there was no wind in there. Then my radio crackled. At first, I thought dispatch was calling me, but instead, I heard my own voice. "I'm inside." I froze instantly because I hadn't spoken, not a word. Then it came again. "I'm inside." But this time, it wasn't coming through the radio anymore. It came from inside the storage unit behind me. I ran. I don't think I've ever run that fast in my life. I got back to the office, locked the door, and pulled up camera 12 again. And that's when I saw it. Me, standing inside Unit C-17, perfectly still, facing the camera. I remember staring at the monitor, trying to process what I was seeing. Because I was in the office. I was literally standing there watching it. Then the version of me on the screen slowly tilted its head and smiled. Not a normal smile, something wrong, too wide, too empty. And then it stepped toward the camera, one slow step at a time until the screen went black. I quit the next morning, didn't even finish my shift. A week later, my manager called me. His voice sounded nervous. He asked if I had gone back to Unit C-17 after quitting. I told him no. There was this long silence on the phone. Then he quietly said, "We found a chair in there this morning." Then he added, "And your security badge was sitting on it." The problem is, I never lost my badge.
Story 3. The listing that shouldn't exist.
Back in 2022, I was working for a small real estate company in Northern California. Nothing exciting, just uploading listings, answering emails, basic office work. Honestly, it was boring. Most days, I could barely stay awake at my desk. But there's one listing, one single listing, that I still think about almost every night. One morning, I logged into the system like usual, coffee in one hand, half asleep, and I saw a property I'd never seen before. No address, no owner information, no phone number, just a title. Immediate occupancy. At first, I honestly thought it was some kind of joke, but then I opened the photos, and that feeling disappeared immediately. The house looked old, like really old. 2 stories, middle of nowhere, surrounded by trees so thick you could barely see the sky. Everything about it felt wrong. The lighting in the photos didn't make sense. The shadows were pointing different directions. And then, I noticed someone standing in the corner of the living room. I thought it was a reflection at first, but when I zoomed in, it was clear. Too clear. A person, standing completely still, facing the camera. I remember laughing nervously to myself, trying to convince myself it was nothing. Probably just bad lighting. Yeah, that's what I told myself. So I walked over to my supervisor's office and showed him the listing. The second he saw it, his face changed. No joke, all the color drained out of him. He just stared at the screen for a few seconds, then quietly said, "Delete it." That was it. No explanation, just delete it. And I swear to God, before I could even move my mouse, the listing refreshed by itself. A new photo appeared. Same room, same angle, but the figure was closer. Not in the corner anymore. Now it was standing behind the couch, looking directly at the camera. My stomach dropped. I actually felt cold, like physically cold. And I know this sounds stupid, but it felt like it was looking at me, not the camera, me. Then suddenly, an address appeared on the screen. No typing, no loading, just appeared. I should have ignored it. I should have gone home. But curiosity got the better of me. And after work, I drove there. The deeper I went into the woods, the quieter everything became. No cars, no people, no signal, nothing. Then I saw the house, and my heart immediately sank. Because it was real, exactly like the photos. No lights inside, no sound, just this old house sitting there in complete silence. The front door was already open a little. That should have been enough to make me leave, but I didn't. I stepped inside. The air smelled old, damp, rotten almost. And there it was, the living room from the pictures. Same couch, same walls, same everything. Then I looked toward the corner, and somebody was standing there, completely still. I couldn't see the face clearly, but I knew it was the same figure from the photos, except now it was closer than before. And that's when I realized something that still messes with me. Every time the listing updated, the figure had moved closer to the camera, which meant the last photo was taken from exactly where I was standing. I ran. I don't even remember reaching my car. I just remember driving, crying, shaking, trying not to look in the mirrors. The next morning, the listing was gone, deleted completely, like it never existed. When I told my supervisor what happened, he didn't look surprised, not even a little. He just sighed, looked at me, and quietly said, "That listing shows up every few years." Then he paused and added something I'll never forget. Most people who go there